The Atlanta Hawks kick off the post Trae Young era versus the Denver Nuggets. But there are certain things going on. No. The Atlanta Hawks have started the post Trae Young era. And while Atlanta Hawks fans are excited about what could happen, people outside the organization are saying things, and there is no way he just said this about the Atlanta Hawks. Also, Trae Young's final message to Hawks fans as he is now in the Washington Wizard area. But, guys, before we get into any of that, welcome back to Hawks Digest. I am Chris Tip Moore. Go ahead and leave those shoes by the door as we get ready for this report. Talking about no way that he just said this. But also, before I get into that, it is playoff time, and it is time to let you guys know what you can possibly do with some extra funds to get you some extra funds. Before we get into all the news today, this video is brought to you by Kalshi. When you download Kalshi using the link in the description, make sure that you're putting in Digest NBA, and you'll get 20 when you trade your first 100. Now, as for Kalshi, it's the largest prediction market in the US, and on their platform, you can trade yes or no on real life sporting events, elections, news, pretty much everything. And it doesn't matter because all across the country, across California, Texas, Georgia, it doesn't matter. Kalshi is here for you. As far as myself with the NFL playoffs upon us, I like to look at the market, and the Green Bay Packers versus Chicago Bears are so close. But if you go with the Chicago Bears, you possibly be able to put more money into your pocket. And if that's not what you like a little bit more risk, well, the Carolina Panthers have an 18% chance of defeating the Los Angeles Rams. If you go with the Panthers and they defeat them, you will definitely put more money in your pocket. It's just another way to use your genuinely sports knowledge and your news knowledge to get close positions wherever you want. Make sure you're downloading Kalshi using the link in the description, and make sure that you're putting in Digest NBA again to get a $20 bonus. And thank you so much to Kalshi for sponsoring this video. Now let's get back to the news. Yes. Make sure you guys are downloading Kalshi. The link is in the description. Make sure you're hitting that Digest NBA so you can make sure you're getting that $20 off now. But anyway, let's get into the report. No way he just said this. Mr. Paul Pierce. He's one of those guys that has retired, has gone on into the podcast world, but ultimately he had some strong words to say about the Atlanta Hawks and the franchise when we traded away Trae Young to the Washington Wizards for Corey Crispert and CJ McCollum. All right. And you know what? I'm just going to play the entire thing for you. I'm not even going to pull any punches or hold anything back. Mr. Pierce, the floor is yours.
I'm never shocked at what the Atlanta Hawks do. As a mid-franchise, as a franchise who is not respected as an organization because of ownership, they never do anything that surprises me. So for them to give up a four-time All-Star, a guy who's one of the elite point guards in the league, who's got them to the Eastern Conference, and not even get a draft pick out of it, that tells me you just wanted him out of your city, out of your state.
Yeah, that's like take him.
Like take him in his prime. So like organizations like this will never be elite. Organizations like this will never win a championship in my lifetime. I guarantee that. If they do, I will crawl from LA to New York, like on my knees. So it's not shocking to me. And they're gonna be a middling franchise for eternity.
Here's what I would say
It's
though
just
about
what it is.
and
Ooh, it is what it is. Well, I'm going to tell you what it is. First of all, okay, I understand some of the points that he was making. The thing about it is, I can't even disagree with just about everything that he said. Like, again, because of front office decisions, yes, we have been a meddling franchise just in the Hawks' history. Not spending money, keeping players too long, not getting rid of players when we're supposed to, not improving rosters, not paying certain guys that we should have kept. So I understand what he's saying about I'm not surprised about the Atlanta Hawks, but my thing is I just feel like it was an opportunity for him to try to go off, get the clicks, get the views, all the good stuff, and because to bash the franchise like that, I just feel like it was more than just had anything to do with Trae Young. Now he was telling the truth about some things about there in Trae Young, but he also left out some things as well. So again, it's only like half truths to some of this, but I will say, as far as what he's saying about how we'll never win a championship, how we'll always be a meddling franchise. If we win a championship in his lifetime, he'll crawl from LA to New York and all this other stuff like that on his knees. Like all that stuff I just feel like was unnecessary. And if you have a strong feeling about the Atlanta Hawks, that's cool, but the way to go about it, I just don't agree with, and I don't agree with the fact that saying that we'll never win anything, we'll always be a meddling franchise. Honestly, I think Mr. Pierce, you just don't understand that there's a new GM in town. He has, first of all, no loyalty to anybody except for the logo. Two, he has no loyalty to anybody really except for the guys he just recently drafted. No, not Zachary Ricochet. Yes, Asa Newell. Also, I still feel like he had something to do with the Dyson Daniels trade, even though Landry Fields will forever in sports history get credit for that. I do believe that Anzi Saleh had something to do with influencing maybe that in that trade somehow, some way. So I'll throw Dyson Daniels in it as well. You know, every move that's been made this offseason and moving forward with the Kristaps Porzingis, going to get Nikhil Alexander Walker, you're going to you're going and reforming this franchise. That's what Anzi Saleh is slick doing when you really look at it. He's tearing this franchise down from previous GMs, from previous coaches and coaching staffs. He's tearing it down and he's remaking it in his image. So only thing that I always say about any GM, no matter if I like them, questionable, whatever, because I don't dislike anybody necessarily. But you got to think about this too, guys. Like he's remodeling the Atlanta Hawks. So there is a chance that everything that came before Anzi will be changed. And we will possibly have a chance to remodel this roster and go forward trying to win a championship. Now, anybody understands GM changes and roster changes, it should be Paul Pierce. But again, I just feel like it was just a chance to just attack the fan base and just attack the organization ultimately because you had to move on from Trae Young. But I do feel like it happened a little bit too late and the market was not favorable for the Atlanta Hawks. The timetable wasn't favorable for the Atlanta Hawks. Yes, I still feel like it was a hasty move, but at the same time, they were handcuffed and things you had to move forward or stay stagnant, like we have in the past, like what this guy saying in the past, right? So regardless, at the end of the day, that's what Paul Pierce had to say about the Atlanta Hawks. I don't fully agree with it. Unfortunately, I hate it that he makes a couple of points in there from our past history, but ultimately, Paul Pierce doesn't know anything about what's going on with the Atlanta Hawks. Only thing they know is the fact that we just traded away a four-time All-Star. Yes, we did. I understand that. And we can have our personal feelings. I've already stated my personal feelings about it. But professionally and logo-wise, we had to do what we had to do, y'all. And at the end of the day, Trae was getting picked on. I've talked about it. It used to pain seeing Trae get picked on defense. Getting put in different screening roles, picking roles. You see that the team is trying to cover up and hide Trae to a degree, and then you'll see whatever defender he's on coming to hit the ball screen, coming to hit the switch, and they're switching straight off on Trae, going at Trae. Their ultimate games. I mean, the Bulls game it happened. Hornets game it happened. It just shoot. Also, the Knicks game it happened. So it's like they were starting to just go at Trae, and the timetable and the timeline wasn't fitting anymore. So I don't agree with Paul Pierce at all, but it is what it is. Next thing I got for you guys is Ice trade. I'm gonna put it on the big screen for the Ice Man. Ice Trae Young had his final say so and final, I guess you can say, ballot for the Atlanta Hawks fan base. But I'm not gonna read this entire thing. I mean, and also I do love the fact that for I know the plans I have for you, declares the Lord, Jeremiah 29:11. So you love to see that. I mean, regardless, I mean, I know I do. But I'm not going to read this whole entire thing to you guys. Hopefully, you guys can see it. I know it's kind of small, but hopefully the big screen helps. But the part that that really stood out to me was more so toward the end. He said, however, the pain of staying the same eventually outweighed, outweighed the certainty of change, and change is often met with fear, but he sees it as an opportunity. Also, think about it at the end too. He's walking into a different situation with his head held high, his eyes on the prize, and it's time to see what possibilities when the support is real and the vision is clear. We'll see what happens moving forward. It's time to see what's possible when the support is real and the vision is clear. Now, Hawks fans, I don't know how that made you guys feel. I don't feel like he necessarily was talking about the fans. Now, some fans, let's keep it real. He probably was talking about some of the fans because ultimately, no matter what, Trae Young never gave up on the franchise, regardless. He always was stuck around and always, bigged up the franchise no matter what. But also, that last statement also goes into how the whole situation transpired. He's basically, I feel like, indicating saying that the whole ordeal with the offseason, all the moves that we've been talking about, all the moves that are being made, pretty much, saying, getting his insight, his influence on all these moves. And then to not even a full year later, moving on from the guy that you made these moves for. It does seem a little dicey, but I will say the injury did hurt Trae Young and the Atlanta Hawks in the possibility of seeing what they could be if he was healthy and with the team. Then when Jalen Johnson taken off, it's like, what else can you do? Jalen Johnson has now taken off, and the Atlanta Hawks are playing better basketball now. So it's like things change. But I do feel like the Atlanta Hawks should have possibly had some type of plan in place or already known that they didn't want to pay the 49 million, and also to try to see if you can get value for Trae before now. So regardless, it's still a messy situation. It really feels like a messy breakup to a degree with Ice and other Atlanta Hawks to a degree. No one likes to necessarily be traded, I don't think. And we saw that same thing with Dominique Wilkins when we traded him. Even though he was more so in the latter stages of his career, still we traded Dominique Wilkins for a guy who only played 20 games, and Danny Manning, as I call him, Danny No Knees. So regardless, you've seen the Atlanta Hawks trade away franchise players before. Again, good luck to Ice Trae. As far as anything that has anything to do with Trae Young, hopefully this can be the last report until it's time for the Washington Wizards versus the Atlanta Hawks, and maybe he'll play, maybe he won't, because I know the Washington Wizards are also trying to tank. So, last thing, and this is probably the most important thing, we had a game last night, guys. The post Trae Young era started officially last night against the Denver Nuggets. Now, yes, the Denver Nuggets were undermanned, heavily undermanned. Nikola Jokic. I was gonna say Nikhil Jokic, but anyway, no Nikola Jokic, no Jonas Valanciunas, no Jamal Murray, no Spencer Jones. So a lot of guys were out for those guys, but of course we didn't have Kristaps Porzingis. C.J. McCollum and Corey Crispert are not with the team. They did land yesterday in Atlanta. Seen them Anze Soleil was there greeting them. Kyle Korver there greeting them. So at the end of the day, like they're in Atlanta. We'll see if they end up traveling to Golden State for our next game on Sunday night. I'm really expecting them to be because like what would be the holdup? I mean they already been taking the pictures and all that stuff like that today in the Hawks uniform, or excuse me, yesterday in the Hawks uniforms and everything. So I would expect that on Sunday, especially since it's a night game, 8:30 start. I know it'll be 5:30 Pacific time, but still, I'm expecting these guys to play. But quick recap: the Atlanta Hawks, things that I feel like that helped the Atlanta Hawks win this game, because in the beginning Denver's a scrappy bunch and they're coached well too. So with that being said, like those guys kept on coming at the Atlanta Hawks, especially in that first half, kept being competitive. But ultimately, in the at halftime, the Atlanta Hawks still had the upper hand. Third quarter, which nearly turned into death quarter, especially toward the end, because the freaking Denver Nuggets were able to go on a run, and they went on a 14-2 run to take a 4-point lead. Ultimately, they took the lead from the Atlanta Hawks going into the fourth quarter, and you started to look at it, you like, come on, Hawks, y'all cannot allow this to happen. But another thing that did happen for the Atlanta Hawks in the fourth quarter, there was a point in time to where it was just a 4-point lead. The Atlanta Hawks was able to play enough good defense, stifling the offense of the Denver Nuggets, and finish the game on a 31-12 run. In the midst of that, a 23-10 run with 10 straight points that end up spanning out through the third and fourth quarters, and ultimately taking down those Denver Nuggets, getting our lick back. Now, yes, I understand that they had some guys out, but you play who's in front of you, and the Atlanta Hawks finished the fourth quarter on a winning that quarter 36-2 to that same 12. So again, that's what you do. You kick them while they're down, and you continue to hold them down. What reasons why the Atlanta Hawks were able to pick up this victory? Points in the paint. 56-30. The Atlanta Hawks were getting down into the paint, especially guys like Dyson Daniels, Jalen Johnson, Nikhil Alexander-Walker, all those guys able to get down in the paint, and JJ was simply able to have just about anything he wanted. Dyson being able to slash across the lane, getting what he wants. So you love to see that. Fast break points on his 16 compared to 9 for Denver. That's okay in this game because again the points in the paint was so great, 26 points, that the fast break points were okay. You didn't necessarily you needed more, but it wasn't like a backbreaker. So at the end of the day, that's fine. The bench points I expected to go Denver's way, having so many guys out. I expected their bench points to go that way for them. But ultimately, again, another thing for the Atlanta Hawks, the turnovers. 19 turnovers for Denver, only 6 for the Atlanta Hawks. As the Atlanta Hawks defense, again, was able to force the Nuggets into bad decisions pretty much, especially in the fourth quarter, and I believe more so like second quarter as well. But that fourth quarter too. So defense and also having them turn the ball over helped the Hawks tremendously, and being able to score 18 points in the paint against points off turnovers against 5 for those Denver Nuggets. So ultimately, this is a big win for the Atlanta Hawks, starting that West Coast swing the right way. But also, this is a big win because you're starting to still see more team chemistry go on with the Atlanta Hawks. Jalen Johnson, a plus 11 for those who care about the plus and 11 minus, but the efficiency, 12 for 18, 66%, 5 of 6 from 3. I love the fact that JJ is getting more confident with his 3-point shot. There was a few times to where he was just facing up the defender and then would just let the ball fly. And you love to see it because, again, this guy, it is his team now. And we're going to see going forward for the rest of the season if he is going to fully evolve that role, evolve into that role. And I think right now he's starting off great. 29 points for JJ, 9 rebounds, 6 assists. So no, he didn't get a double double, but he was still quite doggone effective. Onyeka Okongwu, who had the biggest plus minus percentage on the team at 32 plus 32 for Onyeka Okongwu. 6 for 14, 42%, 307 from three. Was trying to battle in the boards a little bit, 5 rebounds, 5 assists. Also got you 2 steals. Onyeka be getting steals lately, man. Y'all, if y'all been paying attention. Also, 1 block, but 15 points. Pretty much of a solid game, especially with no real big man to have to worry about. Ultimately, I feel like, again, like I said, the entire team were getting what they wanted, including this guy. It's been a minute since I said this, and man, it feels good that I'm about to say this. But Dyson Lamar Daniels returned last night, and honestly, like, he's been having like pretty solid games ultimately. But nah, that last night, that was Lamar, and 8 for 14, getting whatever he wanted in that painted area. Just like I said, the 3 pointers, that's not him, but anywhere in that painted area, yes. If Dyson could if there's any kind of way Dyson Daniels can get that 3 point percentage up to, I'll go ahead and just be on the women. I'll just say 31%. If we can just get 31% instead of like the 12 and 11% that he's shooting from the three, I promise you it'll take the Atlanta Hawks even further than what it is. I'm not asking for 40. I'm not asking for 35. If he can get 30 to 31%, I promise you it's going to take the Atlanta Hawks further than where they are. But Dyson Daniels had to give you the bow because your first ever career triple double, 17 points, 10 assists, 11 rebounds. Love the fact that Dyson is a willing rebounder. Plus 25 in the plus minus department again. And again, 57% going 8 for 14, getting in that lane, getting those floaters, finishing around the rim. You love to see it. Nickeil Alexander-Walker also added another 22 points. Nickeil is just continuously on his ascend, going from a guy that was scoring 9.4 points last year to a guy that's averaging 20.2 points right now. You love to see the growth, and it goes back to what Anzi Saleh was saying about having guys be the best versions of themselves when they're being members of the Atlanta Hawks. You also absolutely love it. Keaton Wallace had some of the most minutes that I've seen him have in recent times. Nearly 18 minutes, 17 minutes for Keaton Wallace. 10 points, hitting a couple of threes, being very efficient, only missed 2 shots. So again, that's your backup point guard. He is growing, but a guy that I am really still excited about and who also is going to get more minutes, not just Muhammad Gay, but also Asa Newell. Asa Newell going 4 or 5 from the field, 80%, 102 from three. Playing very confident always when he gets minutes. 9 points for Asa Newell, plus 20 for Asa Newell. And my thing is the Atlanta Hawks were able to do this and win this game 110 to 87. Yes, I know the Denver Nuggets had injuries, but they still was able to do this, and they got no points, 0 from 2 guys that played quality minutes. Mo G, 18 minutes, no points. Did give you 2 rebounds, did give you a block, unfortunately, 5 fouls. Beat Krejci, also, he was 0 of 8, 0 of 7 from 3. Vit Krejci, this was the worst night of Vit Krejci's NBA season. Seriously. 2 steals, though, 2 blocks. So he still was trying to help out in other ways. 1 assist, 3 fouls, but still no points. You had 2 guys that scored no points, and you were still able to win this game by a nice margin. So I credit that to the Atlanta Hawks offensive game, and also the Atlanta Hawks being able to lock in on defense, especially in that fourth quarter. Well, but the guys, that's all I got for you guys. Paul Pierce and his comments, Trae Young and his comments, and how he feels about how things were done and how things were handled. At the end of the day, that's spoiled milk. You can't really cry over it anymore. Things possibly could have been handled differently, y'all. But at the end of the day, what is different is the Atlanta Hawks. And moving forward, we are in the Jalen Johnson era. And let's just see where this takes us. It all has to work out. At the end of the day, caw and we move. And until next time, guys, I will